Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dong Xiong. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Continuing the discussion from the previous episode, we delve into the entire process of Hong Kong's decline and the CCP's efforts to legitimize overseas law enforcement through extradition agreements among Taiwan, Hong Kong, and mainland China. These efforts faced strong opposition, but an unexpected incident provided the CCP with an opportunity. In February 2018, a tragic murder occurred at Taipei's Purple Garden Hotel in the Da Tong district. A pregnant woman from Hong Kong, Tong Hu Win, was brutally killed and her body abandoned in a Taipei park. Her boyfriend Chang Tong-kai, who had accompanied her to Taiwan, became the prime suspect and fled back to Hong Kong. Notably, Chang Tong-kai was born in Shenzhen but had later relocated to Hong Kong with his family. Since there was no extradition agreement between Taiwan and Hong Kong at the time of this case, despite Taiwan's law enforcement sharing substantial evidence and making 3 formal extradition requests to Hong Kong's Department of Justice, the Hong Kong government declined these requests, citing the lack of an established extradition mechanism between the two territories. Faced with this situation, Taiwan's prosecutor's office had no choice but to issue an official warrant for Chang Tong-kai on December 3, 2018, with a statute of limitations lasting an extraordinary 37 years and 6 months. Although the Hong Kong government rejected the extradition request, it inadvertently provided the CCP with an opening. In early 2019, the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection proposed an amendment to Hong Kong's existing Fugitive Offenders Ordinance, suggesting the establishment of extradition agreements between Hong Kong and mainland China, Macau, and Taiwan. The CCP's proposal aimed to leverage this case as an opportunity to establish a cross-strait and a cross-region extradition agreement, ultimately facilitating the CCP's global law enforcement efforts. The Hong Kong government initially displayed a lack of interest in establishing an extradition mechanism with Taiwan. As mentioned earlier, Taiwan's 3 previous extradition requests had been consistently denied by the Hong Kong government. However, in February 2019, there was a dramatic 180-degree shift in the Hong Kong government stance, largely due to pressure from Beijing. The Hong Kong Security Bureau proactively proposed amending the Fugitive Offenders Ordinance to create an extradition mechanism involving mainland China, Taiwan, and Macau. This abrupt change in the Hong Kong government's position raised eyebrows among astute observers, as it was perceived as an attempt to fulfill the CCP's hidden agenda, capitalizing on the Chang Tong-kai's case. Consequently, the proposal to amend the Fugitive Offenders Ordinance faced strong opposition from civil society in both Hong Kong and Taiwan. Hong Kong's pro-democracy camp suggests that the government handled the case of the suspect, Chang Tong-kai, through a special arrangement with Taiwan, contending that there was no need to alter the law. Taiwan also underwent a significant shift in stance, with authorities who had previously requested Chang Tong-kai's extradition expressing concerns that amending the law could lead to the extradition of Taiwanese residents in Hong Kong to mainland China for trial. As a result, the Tsai Ing-wen government in Taiwan categorically refused to accept Chang Tong-kai's extradition under the amended law, stating that they would only agree to the transfer of the suspect in this particular case and not if the law was changed. Thus, what was originally a straightforward criminal case evolved into immensely complex political calculation and a power struggle, driven by differing political considerations in Hong Kong and Taiwan. This development triggered a surge of public sentiment and a backlash in both regions. many recognized that the primary force behind this situation was the CCP. The CCP, which has never genuinely prioritized people's rights, was actively pushing for this amendment with the ultimate goal of extending Xi Jinping's authoritarian control not only across Taiwan Strait but also into Hong Kong and Macau. If successful, it would likely result in limited opposition not only within mainland China but also in Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau. However, the government led by Carrie Lam, which followed Beijing's directives, initially failed to grasp the magnitude of this surge in public sentiment. Instead, under continuous pressure from the CCP, it obstinately pushed ahead with amending the Fugitive Offenders Ordinance. The CCP's role in orchestrating events while the Hong Kong government complied became glaringly apparent, ultimately leading to the swift eruption of the familiar anti-extradition movement. In March 2019, Hong Kong residents initiated a peaceful sit-in protest outside the government headquarters, demanding the withdrawal of proposed amendments to the extradition law. Over the following 3 months, a staggering number of over 1 million Hong Kong citizens participated in various demonstrations. Despite the vehement opposition from the people, the government persisted in pushing for the amendments. The tipping point came on June 16 when Hong Kong witnessed its largest protest in history, with over 2 million residents taking to the street in a powerful display of dissent. To put this into perspective, Hong Kong's total population was just over 7 million at the time, making the participation of 2 million people roughly 1/3 of the population, a striking testament to the widespread opposition to the proposed changes. In September of that year, the Carrie Lam government, succumbing to mounting pressure, withdrew the proposed amendments to the extradition bill. However, they declined to initiate an independent inquiry into allegations of police misconduct and concurrently introduced a ban on face masks, escalating the tensions. At this juncture, Hong Kong citizens recognized that merely opposing the bill amendments was inadequate. They understood that the root cause of their threatened rights extended beyond the amendments. Consequently, Hong Kong residents articulated 5 key demands, namely: 1. Complete withdrawal of the proposed extradition bill amendments. 2. Revoke the categorization of the protests as riot. 3. Release arrested individuals and drop charges against them. 4. Establish an independent inquiry to investigate allegations of excessive use of force by the police. 5. The resignation of Chief Executive Carrie Lam. However, it's clear that the Hong Kong government, tightly controlled by the CCP, would never agree to these demands. Behind them stood Xi Jinping, a dictator who doesn't entertain notions of mercy or compromise. If you defy him, he treats you as an enemy and eliminates you. So despite Hong Kong's reasonable demands, Xi Jinping viewed the global attention and the support garnered by Hong Kong resistance as a significant challenge to his leadership authority. Therefore, he had no qualms about sacrificing Hong Kong in retaliation. He was even willing to resort to deplorable tactics such as enlisting Hong Kong's triad societies as enforcers, as exemplified by the Yuan Long white shirt attack incident. The truth is, the CCP influential families have deep-rooted interests in the region. Hong Kong, once a global financial center, has been a favored destination for CCP's red aristocracy to engage in money laundering and offshore investments, including Xi Jinping's own family. According to a New York Times report from August 2020, Xi Jinping's sister Qi Qiaoqiao initiated real estate purchase in Hong Kong as far back as 1991. The family of 3 established a company named Zhiyue Investment Limited, profiting substantially from trading Hong Kong's land using their connections. In 2009, Qi Qiaoqiao's daughter Zhang Yannan made a cash purchase of a villa on Repulse Bay Road for a staggering 150 million Hong Kong dollars with no need for a loan. Furthermore, Zhang Yan'an possesses at least 5 other apartments in various locations, collectively worth over 300 million Hong Kong dollars. A conservative estimate indicates that the assets of Xi Jinping's family in Hong Kong surpass 430 million Hong Kong dollars. Furthermore, Li Zhanshu's daughter Li Qianxin possesses a 4-unit Seaview townhouse in Hong Kong valued at 15 million US dollars. She also holds shares in the renowned Peninsula Hotel. In 2010, Wang Yang's daughter Wang Xisha acquired a 2 million US dollar residence in Hong Kong, and numerous similar instances exist. Despite this substantial interest in Hong Kong, when the protests of Hong Kongers posed a threat to Xi Jinping's regime, he did not hesitate to take severe measures. For dictators, extinguishing all sources of resistance remains the central strategy for preserving power. On June 30, 2020, the Chinese National People's Congress Standing Committee bypassed Hong Kong's legislative procedure and imposed the Hong Kong National Security Law. This law created the Office for Safeguarding National Security of the Central People's Government in the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. It empowered the Hong Kong police to circumvent the judicial system and allow the chief executive to designate the judges to preside over cases related to the law. In essence, this marked the end of one country, two system principle in Hong Kong from a legal perspective. Following the enactment of the Hong Kong National Security Law, the CCP obtained unrestricted power in Hong Kong, erasing any fundamental distinctions between the city and the mainland Chinese urban centers. In the initial 4 months after the law's passage, Hong Kong's police, wielding this oppressive legislation, apprehended over 10,000 individuals, spanning from as young as 11 to as elderly as 84. A total of more than 2,800 people faced charges and over 1,170 received convictions. This period marked an unprecedented and grim chapter in Hong Kong's history since its inception. However, we've also witnessed that millions of Hong Kong citizens didn't back down. They courageously persevered, despite a substantial personal sacrifice, to confront the Chinese Communist Party and the Hong Kong government's crackdown on their cherished freedoms. While their endeavors may currently seem unsuccessful, they laid bare the true essence of the CCP's deceitful one country, two system rhetoric. This revelation has prompted the nations in the civilized world to wake up to the reality, indirectly contributing to the current international isolation and abandonment of CCP. Therefore, it's accurate to say that the Hong Kong people's resistance hasn't been in vain. The concept of one country, two systems, known for its deceptive nature, didn't originate in Hong Kong. In fact, the earliest rendition of this idea can be traced back to the 17-article agreement signed between the CCP and the Tibetan government in 1951. This agreement explicitly preserved Tibet's existing political system, stating that the central government would not alter it and would not enforce reforms on Tibet through coercion. However, this initial form of one country, two systems lasted only 8 years before being declared obsolete. In contrast, Hong Kong's version endured for 23 years. After the implementation of the Hong Kong National Security Law, it's safe to say that the essence of one country, two systems in Hong Kong has virtually vanished. Recent actions by the Hong Kong authorities, such as issuing arrest warrants for political exiles under the pretext of the National Security Law, indicate that Hong Kong now bears little political distinction from mainland Chinese cities. The once free Hong Kong has been eroded under Xi Jinping's policies. However, the spirit and the resilience displayed by the people of Hong Kong during the anti-extradition movement, their willingness to confront adversity with courage and determination, continue to shine brightly and uphold their reputation as a beacon in the Chinese world and the pearl of the Orient. For totalitarian governments around the world, it's inconceivable to tolerate the presence of a self-governing entity capable of challenging their authority. This represents the gravest threat to totalitarian regimes, especially when dealing with a city like Hong Kong, which has achieved a remarkable success by embracing modern civilization and democratic principles. Hong Kong's existence fundamentally undermines the CCP and can be likened to a constant source of irritation and contradiction for them. Consequently, from a long-term perspective, it's implausible for the CCP to permit the continued existence of a genuinely democratic and free Hong Kong. This explains their initial promise of universal suffrage to Hong Kong residents, followed by their subsequent refusal to honor those commitments. The Chinese mainland population is closely observing, and if they voice similar demands in the future, can the Communist Party maintain its hold on power? Therefore, suppressing and subduing Hong Kong has always been an inevitable course of action for the CCP. When Deng Xiaoping made the pledges of 50 years unchanged, it was because they were financially vulnerable at the time and needed Hong Kong as a gateway for investment and technological advancements. Now that they are economically robust, Hong Kong is no longer a necessity, and the era of Hong Kong's freedom is drawing to a close. Hence, it might seem like a comical twist that Xi Jinping managed to undo a century's worth of efforts that built the Pearl of the Orient due to a piece of tabloid literature. However, upon closer examination, this aligns perfectly with the inevitable logic of the CCP's rule, with Xi Jinping simply hastening the outcome. Even in the absence of Xi Jinping, as long as CCP maintains its power, true freedom remains an elusive goal for Hong Kong. Presently, Hong Kong has suffered greatly at the hands of the CCP, causing numerous middle-class and young individuals to reluctantly depart and seek freedom elsewhere. Nevertheless, I hold the belief that this remarkable city won't remain in obscurity indefinitely. Its glory will return to Hong Kong eventually. Sooner or later, it will unite with the mainlanders to challenge oppression and reclaim its freedom. I have faith that this day will arrive. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.